to everyone here. If it's Madison Square Garden, it must be the Olympic year for USA Gymnastics. It's really exciting for us to be back here. This is the third consecutive Olympic year that we've been in the Garden for the AT&T American Cup. You know, the event started here back in 1976 when they were looking for a special way to celebrate the bicentennial. I know one guy in the room who was there back in 1976, a young gymnast from Romania and a young man from the United States became the inaugural champions of what was then the American Cup, Bart Connor and Nadia Comaneci. And Mr. Karolyi was Nadia's coach at the time. And the event stayed here in Madison Square Garden through the mid-'80s. And then in 2004, we brought it back to Madison Square Garden in the Olympic year, and 2008, and we're back in 2012 for what would be the latest edition of this fantastic and historical event for USA Gymnastics. This is an important international event for us. It's now a World Cup event. There's a new World Cup series that has been created over the last couple of years for the all-around competition. So this is one of 6. This is the first of the next 6 World Cup events, which is actually going to be 5, and if you want to talk about it offline, we can. But between the USA, Japan, Germany, and England, we have created a World Cup series out of 4 events that have a jackpot at the end of it of $100,000 for the champions at the end of the day. So we have FIG officials here, and we're looking forward to a great competition. We've got a great field, and we've got a big year ahead. Obviously, it kicks off for us here in New York with this event. We've got the Nastia Liukin Cup this week, which is an event that we designed 3 years ago, which basically we have the Nastia Liukin Cup series, and what we've done is we've put our arms around all the invitationals that are held around the country at this time of year. This is gymnastics season right now in the United States. So you've had junior Olympic athletes competing in a series of invitationals that have started really at the beginning of January and run through March. And we've gathered those up and created the Nastia Liukin Cup series, which culminates with the Nastia Liukin Cup the day before the American Cup. And these are all level 9s, 10s, JO athletes who may become a future World Championship team member. In fact, Gabby Douglas, who was on our World Championship team last year, was 4th at the inaugural Nastia Liukin Cup. A lot of these athletes will go on to college and may never compete at the elite ranks, so we're giving them a taste of what it's like to compete at this level and be at this kind of an event. We treat them like a national team athlete. Or this may be the biggest meet of their life, and they may not, they may go on to do other things, but we've given them an opportunity to have a culmination of their gymnastics career. So we've really been excited about this partnership with Nastia over the last few years, and it's been a fun event for her and all the girls that are involved, and we are excited to be here with that and continue that in the future. In a couple of weeks, we have the Kellogg's Pacific Rim Gymnastics Championships in Everett, Washington. That's an international event featuring countries from all over the Pacific Rim. And if you followed our sport in the last few Olympic Games, you'll know that China, Japan, Russia, which all touch the Pacific Ocean, have been major players in what happens at the Olympic Games. So it's a combined junior-senior team. We'll have a strong team there, and we expect that the other countries will too. And it gives them a really nice opportunity to test the legs and some of the talents of those athletes that they expect to be taken on to London. We've got the Secret Classic in May, which will be a big event. The Classic every year kind of takes a little bit of a back seat to the championships, but this year it will be the return to competition and it'll be a very important meet for all of our athletes. But if you look at some of our returning athletes that may want to go on and continue to the Olympic team, such as our friend Ms. Liukin, it'll be an important event for them because it really is the first time that they need to be back in the mix and doing something to show that they're ready to go on to the Olympic Games, or the Olympic trials and the Olympic Games. So we expect the Secret Classic to be a big deal in Chicago. We'll have the Visa Championships in St. Louis in the first part of June. That will be the first of the 2 events that really sets the tone for what's going to happen in London. and then we culminate with the Olympic trials in San Jose, which will be the final event where the men's and women's teams will be named. So we're going to leave San Jose with an Olympic team for men and women, for trampoline, and for rhythmic. So we're very excited about that. You know, it's a great opportunity for us to really showcase our sport at the highest level. And I know our program folks are excited about it, NBC is excited about it, our sponsors are excited about it, San Jose is excited about it, and we think it'll be one of the most successful events we've ever conducted. I really want to make a point of saying, you know, we are very proud of what USA Gymnastics is doing right now. We're also planning on a post-Olympic tour, the Kellogg's Tour of Gymnastics Champions, after the Olympic Games. Those tickets are going on sale this week in, I believe, 11 markets. There's a website designed for it, www.kelloggstour.com, which is up this weekend. Tickets are going on sale, as I said. We have a 40-city tour planned. More markets will come on sale as weeks follow. But we're very proud of what we're doing right now. Proud of the accomplishments of our athletes. We're very proud of our business accomplishments. We're very proud of what we're doing with the grassroots aspects of our sport. And none of this would be possible without great partners. And I just want to make that point because we have a fantastic stable of partners. When you consider first the U.S. Olympic Committee and the level of support that they provide our athletes and our national governing body, we have a great relationship with NBC and Universal Sports. All the events that I was discussing with you are televised either on NBC or Universal Sports. We have a great group of corporate partners. Our partner here for this event, AT&T, which Danielle Kent, I believe, is in the room representing AT&T. Thank you for your support to USA Gymnastics. Visa, Adidas, Procter & Gamble, Hilton, Kellogg's, AAI, and others. But when you look at that lineup of blue chip corporate partners, it's something that we are particularly proud of and very appreciative of, and we do not take it for granted. And part of that inspires us as an organization. And one of the things I like to do every year is come up with a theme for the year that kind of drives us as an organization. It's primarily saved internally. This year I was thinking, you know, what would be a really good theme? And I was thinking, okay, well, let's see, it's the Olympic year, we're going to London. I thought, how about USA Gymnastics, London 2012, This Ain't No Tea Party. And I floated that around, and a few people liked it, and I thought about putting it on a few t-shirts. You know, Brian, our licensee's in here, he kind of likes it too. You might see it on a t-shirt or two. But really the way we're looking at our business model for this year, and when you look at what our athletes are doing, our model for 2012 is Go Beyond. And basically that pushes us to go to the next level. It inspires us to go to the next level in everything that we do. We are constantly asking our athletes, our coaches, our sport to go beyond, and they deliver all the time. And when you look at what our athletes have done over the last 10 to 12 years, it's really, really remarkable. We have had a consistent level of success. And I'm just going to throw a few stats out at you, and they're ones that you might have heard me say before, and you'll probably hear me say again, and they're just a couple of the ones that I like to spout. But between 2000 and 2011, the U.S. team, the U.S. women's team, is still the only team in the country to have won a team medal at every World Championships or Olympic Games since 2000. In the world, yeah, in the world. The only country in the world. That group of women, or those groups of women, have won a total of 60 world and Olympic medals in that time frame. The next best countries are Russia and China with 35. You know, and that's not something that just happened overnight. It's because the athletes and the coaches and the staff and the entire organization is committed to this intensity, this effort, this achievement, this level of achievement. And it's something that drives us every day, and something that makes us particularly proud. The other thing that I like to talk about is that the United States is the only country in the sport of gymnastics that has won back-to-back men's and women's team medals at the last two Olympic Games. In Athens in 2004, in Beijing in 2008, no other country has won back-to-back men's and women's team medals. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. The women have done an incredible job of getting to the top of the plateau and going like this. I mean, just staying right up there. The men's road has a tendency to be a little more wavy. And we went down one really steep thing in 2006 and recovered to really make it back in 2007 and 2008. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in sport. But this is by design. This is something that these guys are working hard for every day. And if you look at it, right now on the women's side, we have the 05 world champion, the 07 world champion, the 08 Olympic champion, the 09 world champion, the 010 silver medalist, and the 011 world champion, all thinking about trying out for this Olympic team, all in training to try to make this next Olympic team. That's an amazing thing to be able to contemplate. I mean, that's a level of success and achievement that I don't think has ever been accomplished in any sport in this country by anybody. And I just think it's phenomenal. And I just, you know, I couldn't be prouder of what we've accomplished as an organization, again, not only on the field of play, but off the field of play. And really, what we're designing is, we're working to create a legacy of success. Not just at the highest level, but how it drills all the way down through our entire athlete development pipeline. On both the men's and women's sides, we've created programs that are working at the highest level. The talent that is emerging is able to compete day in and day out with the best in the world. On the acro, on the trampoline and rhythmic and acro sides, we're trying to duplicate that model as closely as we can. Our goal is to nurture these athletes and help them become the very best gymnasts that they could ever dream of being. And so what we did is we created a tighter partnership with our friends the Karolyis, who have a facility down in Huntsville that really brings our organization to life in the way that it needs to. And we've expanded our footprint at the Karolyi Ranch, which is now considered an official U.S. Olympic training site for USA Gymnastics. And we've increased the traffic that goes down there to include trampoline, rhythmic, and acro. Those three disciplines did not have a place to train for their national team programs. The rhythmic girls went up to Lake Placid every once in a while. The trampoline athletes always had to be sharing gyms with other disciplines and around the country. Acro really didn't have a place to call home. And when we sort of looked at it and said, why don't we create a home for them, and maybe the ranch would be a good spot, I called Bela up and I said, what do you think? And he says, okay, I'll build it. You know? And if, for those of you that know Bela, 3 months later, you had the biggest building in Texas for gymnastics. And it really has become a special place for USA Gymnastics. The Karolyis, both Bela and Marta, have just become incredible partners for our sport. They've always been important to our sport, but they are our partners. And they are among the people that really help make us successful day in and day out. And it's an honor and a privilege for me to sit here and introduce to you Mr. Bela Karolyi. Thank you.
Here we go again. That's the kid. Here we go again. This is another year, another fantastic year, another introduction to the final stage of the dream, of the quadrennium dream of the athletes. This is the final stage where we're going to see again, a brand new, maybe a brand new dream coming alive, or a brand new dream shattered. This is the year when dreams going to be born and dreams going to be failed. I mean, here it is the thing. This is the beauty of the sport, nothing wrong with it. But all what we're hoping to follow the footsteps of the previous generations and going with the same kind of dedication, with the same kind of strong desire to the very best on the final stage that's going to be on the Olympic floor. And I have to tell you, and honestly I'm telling you, they dream and our dreams and your dreams going to be alike. And that's going to be a good one, a solid one, a dream that one going to bring again back that coveted medals what we are so much admired in the neck of those young athletes. We're gonna bring back the pride of being again named the best gymnastic country in the world. Gonna bring back the dream of the young kids looking up now the new role models. I said, yeah, one of these days I want to be that one or that one or that one. She's an Olympic champion also. Look at this beautiful bouquet of Olympic champions right in there. Mary Lou. Oh my God. It is just absolutely, it's so elevating to see that we are the nation who are appreciating our world champion, and they are the ones who created the appreciation. They created our pride around the sport, and they created that amazing enthusiasm around the sport of gymnastics. Sport of gymnastics would be alive, but not even halfway as strong without them. How many millions of kids dream to be a Mary Lou? How many kids are Kerry? How many kids have the dreaming to be a Nastia nowadays? Sure. And there's a solid and healthy and a sturdy dream. Let's help them. Let's help them. Let's help them to get there. And how we can help them to give a good report on the sport, to get a good report of the kids, get a good report about where we are and how we're going. And I'm telling you, we are going in the right direction. I'm telling you right now, it is a great thing what is going on the national level, on both men and women's side. It is a strong, united effort. I never seen that chemistry between coaches and athletes alike, going for the same goal. Listen, it's hard. It's hard to even mention names at this point, because you have no idea what the outcome gonna be. If I would start now to brag of the names in the women's side, I think I would do a tremendous injustice for some of them who are on the website. How about me? I have the same dream. I have the same dream. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna eat somebody up. Well, open field. They can do it. But I have to tell you still, at this particular time, probably we are the most fortunate situation we ever had. We had returning Olympians. We had active national team members, world champions. And we had young juniors with a big wide open eye, but with a fist of iron beating on the door. We want to hear it. Then Kayla Ross or Finnegan. You're going to hear these names. You never heard about them, but you're going to hear it from now on. And those are even more reinforcing the tremendous pool which you already have going toward the final stage, the Olympic Games. Olympic game is great. Olympic game is good. Olympic game is the one what keeps us alive. You guys are just as involved in the Olympic Games like we are. For both of us, we are looking for this unique moment, unique opportunity again, to see our teams succeeding, prevailing, and all these days, when we're going to turn around and say, you know what, I did good praising those kids, I did good appreciating the effort, I did good standing behind them, because they do deserve. They are the best of our young generation. American Cup is important. You know what? American Cup always been the big bell, bang, on the Olympic year. Always been. And always created an Olympic champion. Always. Look at Tastia Lukin, Nadia Comaneci, Mary Loretter. I mean, just great examples what American Cup does to you. You know what? You might don't know, but coaches, we have to alter so badly our plan because the American Cup. But we did with a great dedication and a conviction that it's worth it, because this is the stepping stone into the Olympic stage. And always been on that way, even though I was at that time, on my active time, about to cut my own throat, knowing that in February, end of February, I have to have a full ready athlete on the floor. You know what is? That's hard. That's tough to keep that readiness from March all the way to July, August. Wow, it is hard. But you know what? If the athletes, your athletes are deserving to have the explanation, if they understand that this is something that one is going to their benefit, they're standing next to you, and they always then doing it the same way. I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased, and I'm very proud of those many years of the American Cups. I was blessed to have 14 of them behind me, and I had a beautiful streak of 10 continuous victories in 10 years. It's a great competition. It's a good competition. Give you an opportunity to talk to you, to bullshit a little bit, and to give you the real face of the sport, and give you the real reason why we are so excited, or why we are so sad or worried. Well, at this time is no worry. There is a great anxiety in my heart to see forward and to look forward, to see this beautiful thing developing. I mentioned new generation, old generation, stable generation, and with the clash, obviously we're going to have the best team we ever had on the floor. And I can guarantee on both on the men and the women's side, these young athletes are going to fight hard in order to protect our superiority on the sport of gymnastics, to prove us again that we are still the best gymnastic country in the world. Thank you very much.
You know, we do have this lovely bouquet, as Bela referred to these three ladies sitting here. This is a historical day, you need to know, because it's the first day since Nastya won in 2008 that the three U.S. Olympic champions have been together. They have never been together, period. And so this is a special day. It's a special day for us to have them here. Also, all three of them won the American Cup in the year in which they won the Olympic all-around. So, and frankly, the three of them won Mary Lou won it here in '84, Karolyi won it here in 2004, and Nastya won it here in 2008. So we're hoping that the AT&T American Cup continues to be a nice harbinger of what may happen in the fall, and we're excited to have them here kind of as a part of our guest list, if you will, for the weekend. So they're here as we decide later on to get into some Q&A, but also with us is a gentleman who won the AT&T American Cup, or whatever the American Cup was at the time, but 1984, Peter Vidmar won here at Madison Square Garden as well with our friend Mary Lou, and went on obviously to be a member of the 1984 men's team that won gold in Los Angeles, and now is the chairman of USA Gymnastics. And I got to tell you, it's a real privilege to work with Peter in leading this organization. I think he's doing a fantastic job as chair and as a true symbol and emblem of what this organization is. So, ladies and gentlemen, Peter Vidmar.
Well, next time, I apologize, we're going to have to get someone with real enthusiasm for gymnastics. We did our best with Bela, but thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I've been around long enough to see some tremendous change in the sport. When I began as a young gymnast and just first started, I was about 11 years old. It was right after the '72 Olympic Games in New York. At that time, our most accomplished gymnast was Kathy Rigby, who won a silver medal on the beam in this 1970 World Championships. She kind of showed that maybe an American could win a medal in world competition. And then in '76, Peter Corman won the bronze medal in floor exercise. We thought, well, gee, maybe an American could win an Olympic medal now. And then we had the success that we did in 1984, and I was privileged to be in that team with Mary Lou. And we thought we had arrived, but we really hadn't. We were just arriving. Because when you look at what we've been able to amass in the last, even 10 years alone, as Steve mentioned, it's really remarkable to see us where we are now. It's just such a great privilege to be involved in an organization that's doing that now. And the reason why we try to be successful is not only just for the success of our athletes, but this success that we're enjoying and the relationship that we have with our partners enables us to serve the gymnastics community even better. And so these young girls, when they win, come not from a USA Gymnastics program per se, they come from their own clubs with their own coaches. Out there on the floor, you've got individual coaches that own their own clubs, that run old businesses all over the country, that are trying to help their young people reach the same dreams that we were able to reach. And that's replicated all throughout the United States. And so, for example, we want to serve that community as best as we can. Tomorrow, Steve and I will be meeting with club owners in the New York area and just ask them questions. What can we do to serve you better? How can we provide more services for you? How can we better serve the community? And we get ideas. In fact, at the American Cup, I believe it was 2 years ago in Worcester, some of the gym club owners said, you know, we wish we had some sort of a forum that we could communicate with each other. You had some club owners that maybe were just starting a new business. They didn't really know everything they needed to know. You had some that were very experienced. And how can they get information from them? We created a website and kind of a blog. I think it's usagymclub.com, usagymclub.com. That came as a result of the meeting that we had 2 years ago. We'll have another meeting tomorrow, and we'll do this in other cities that we go to. It's great feedback for us to know how we can better serve our community. So I'm excited about our future. I just pinch myself that I get to see USA Gymnastics where it is now. And much of the reason is for the three individuals you have here, the way they conduct themselves, the way they represent our sport. And I know you probably want to talk to them more than you want to talk to us. But I appreciate your time, and we're very excited about the competition coming up this weekend. Tonight's Nastya Olympic Cup and the Olympic year. It's going to be a great year for USA Gymnastics.
We're happy to take questions for a few seconds, and then we'll
John, if you talk about when you did a decision of choosing the entire women's team at trials as opposed to just partly in camp.
It was kind of it kind of evolved in a number of ways. one of the things that is not very publicly known or not widely known is that there's actually a deadline of 30 days where the Olympic committees have to have the names of their teams into the organizing committee for the Olympics. And so when you're trying to schedule the trials and you've got NBC who's trying to schedule the trials and they have other trials that they're trying to schedule and everybody's trying to sort of jockey for timing, we said basically the later we are able to conduct our trials, the greater likelihood that we'd be selecting our entire team. Because it's that the further away from the games, the more likely it is that we would want to have a selection camp. So NBC, the USOC, and us all came together and we were able to get that last weekend. And, you know, because NBC is the Olympic partner and, you know, writes a pretty good check to the IOC and everybody's working together to make this as big of a deal as it can heading into the games, it's okay that we're turning in our names a little bit closer to the Olympic Games. And the USOC went for an exemption, which we've asked for before. It's not unusual for a sport to get an exemption, but they're not going to do it for everybody. So it all just came together, the timing came together, and it made it very feasible for us to select the entire team at the trials. The last time we did it was 2000. Any other questions?
I think everyone would like to go into one-on-ones, I would
Yep.
guess.
No
So just if you'll give us a second, we're going to actually, for Mary Lou, Carly, and Nastia, we're going to play some kind of